Hello, everyone, and this is Winter Data Meetup from Datazencommunity. Our speaker is Liudmyla Yukhno, and she will share with us the best practices for creating valuable, supportable, stable, and optimized BI report. Please don't forget to ask your questions in YouTube chat. Hi, Liudmyla, it's nice to see you. The floor is yours.
Hello everyone. My name is Liudmyla or just Luda, and today I'm going to speak about best practices for Power BI development. Best practices is a very broad topic, so I want to mention that practices I'm going to speak about are mostly focused on report future maintainability. I'm not going to focus a lot on report performance or design because there's lots of information in the internet about it already. But my main idea was to collect some practices that should help developers to create a report that will be clear, understandable, and easy to maintain in future, including for people who didn't work with this report before. Some of these points you can easily find in most of guides for Power BI developers. Other ones are built on my own experience, and I wouldn't say each of them is strongly necessary for any Power BI report. It's better to be considered as a list of ideas and tooltips that may simplify your development process. The more huge and complex report you build, the more profits you get from using these practices. A few words about myself. I'm data analyst and data visualization specialist in EPAM. I have been working in Power BI over 3 years, and my experience counts multiple various reports with different data models. Last autumn, I gained Microsoft certificate to confirm my qualification in using this app. And what is Power BI itself? Power BI is a data visualization software developed by Microsoft. With Power BI, you can easily create complex interactive reports, share them with users, view data from different devices, maintain a refresh schedule, access layer, and many other things. Process of report creation starts from data preparation. You connect Power BI desktop to needed data sources, transform them somehow in Power Query if necessary, and after that build your visualization and publish results to Power BI service. As I'm speaking about report maintainability, my main focus will be on practices you implement directly in Power BI desktop. But of course, sometime I will touch sources and service side as well. So let's start from beginning and speak about data structure practices. First of all, and as the most important advice in all this presentation, I need to say make your data transformation as close to the source side as it's possible. In ideal case, you shouldn't do any transformation in Power Query at all. If for some reason you can't do all needed transformation directly in the source, which is a pretty common situation, and you think about if you need to use Power Query or calculate some columns in DAX, Power Query almost always is a better choice. Except this, you still may shift the load of some transformation steps in the source side to reduce the load on the computing power of the Power BI. If you connect to relational databases, open data feeds such as an Excel file in SharePoint, Exchange, or Active Directory, Power BI automatically create native query to the source and load to the report only result of this query. This feature called query folding and support not all possible Power Query transformation. So it's better to put all unsupported ones in the end of your transformation steps list. Some helpful practices for your reports. If you know that source of your data periodically switches its location, you may create a parameter and put direction to this source in this parameter. Parameters are available to change directly from Power BI service, so you won't need to republish your report from desktop each time when source has been changed. One more way to simplify your development is to set up incremental refresh because it decreases time of data refresh both in Power BI desktop and Power BI service side, but like in a different way. You will see in Power BI desktop only a few data that are filtered by parameters range start and range end, and it will be enough for you to test your report. But in Power BI service side, you will see all needed data and refresh only some set or some piece of data that you set up. For example, like last 3 days. Limitation of this method is that your historical data won't be appeared updated automatically in case of any changes. So incremental refresh doesn't fit you if historical data in the source changes pretty often. And you also won't be able to use incremental refresh effectively if your data doesn't support query folding. And some features that may help you to quickly analyze your data quality is data preview features, column quality, column distribution, and column profile. Just don't forget, if you use these functions, features, switch column profiling mode from first 1,000 rows to entire data set in the bottom of your screen. So, what's better to avoid when you're working on the report is firstly to enter data directly in Power BI. This feature may be used for some really small tables and,
Thank you,
as
Alex, for the
example,
introduction.
sorry. Okay, as for example, list of measure units needed to provide users a possibility to switch between kilometers or miles or different currencies or so on. And these several values are the only one thing you entered table has. But for any biggest table, it's better to create something to connect to it because it's really unpleasant experience to make any edits in such tables. Once in my practice, I was told to enter dimensional table with France, regions, and districts directly in Power Query. I agreed because, I thought, what can be changed in the list of country regions? You can't imagine how many things actually do. I needed to replace this table about 5 times, and finally it was just moved to Excel file in SharePoint as it should be done from the beginning. So just don't. Next piece of advice is really simple. It's better to load needed data in the future than collect extra data you don't use in the report. And if you need some table in your data transformation, but you don't use it in visualization, just disable its loading to the report. It still be there for your Power Query, but it won't blur your eyes like, or um, it won't increase the report size uh, in your report finally in Power BI. And the last point in this block is if you need for some reason several copies of the same table with different transformation steps, for example, to create dimensional tables that are not presented in source. It's better to use reference instead of duplicates where it's possible, or to create interim table where you collect your data and connect other tables to this one. Next advice is to make your data as reusable as it's possible to avoid double work. PowerBI provides a lot of ways to simplify your development processes and set your data pipelines, so it's just a good idea to use them. Okay, and the thing people don't usually pay attention on, but that may help a lot when you try to understand what's going on in the report, especially if you've never seen it before. It's naming. Table on the screen is just my own way to sort things. You may create your own, but when your naming follows some rules, it's much easier to navigate in data. It also should be the same set of rules for each report in ideal words. So, great. We're done with data transformations. We can close Power Query and finally start building the report. Firstly, I'd ask you to open Model View and maintain your data schema. Just drag tables in the way that viewer could easily understand connections between data. Which tables are facts and which are dimensions. The easiest way to familiarize with a new report is to check its schema, so it should be as clear and understandable as it's possible. I also advised you to use star schema and one-to-many relationships instead of snowflake schema and many-to-many relationships. And if it's happening that you need to use many-to-many relationships, ensure that you clearly understand how it influences on your calculations context and configure single direction filtering to avoid mistakes in calculations. Technical columns are used in relationships between tables, and sometimes it's needed to provide exact calculation logic, but they are not used in visualization building. So it's better to hide them to clear your report view from extra data and simplify navigation during the report building. You may group your measures and columns inside one tables to logical blocks called folders. That's just a way to simplify navigation in data a bit more. Sometimes data are needed to be additionally configured. For example, if you don't configure your country column and as country data type, they might be incorrectly displayed as on a map visuals. For example, Georgia, a country, could be interpreted by Power Query as Georgia state of USA. It won't be if you just say Power BI that's a strongly countries list. And it's also useful to configure numeric data to show and summarize it correctly all over the report. And if you have hierarchical data to show, it's a good idea to create hierarchy and put it in all visualization where it's needed, instead of creating hierarchies each time in visualization parameters. Talking about calculations, the main idea is to make them optimized and easy to read. For example, calculated columns take up space in memory, when measures save only logic of calculation and are calculated in RAM in context of each particular visualization. Variables not only increase DEX formula performance, but also increase intelligibility of the formula and make it easier to read them by other developers or even by you after a few months. And Creating a separate table to put all your measures there is an elegant way to simplify navigation between them. And of course, just a few things about visual design. First point is something that can simplify your development process a lot on the start. Every company has its own design standards, so creating of a new report always starts from such things as adding logo, headers, background, or something like that. You'll probably use theme files anyway, because almost all companies have their own color standards. But don't forget that you may save in this file not only palette, but also fonts and sizes for different types of text and so on. But if you know that all your reports have the same canvases that you set up every time the same canvas when you start a new report, you can save this canvas as a template file. This file doesn't contain any data, but only preset of visual elements and theme. So you won't need to start it manually anymore. Another good idea is to set up images for page's background. It will clean your canvas from extra visuals, such as shapes, images, or text boxes, and affect both your navigation between elements and page performance. Next one's practices are mostly, but not exceptionally, about report maintainability in the future and about how to make it easy to understand what's happening on the page. That's not so necessary when you have just a few visuals on the page, but if you build complex pages with multiple bookmarks, swiping charts, hiding elements, and so on, you'd better not hesitate to make a few extra moves and provide a possibility to navigate in all of them, not in like blind manual way, for yourself and also for other developers in future. In addition, just want to pay your attention on such powerful features as built-in performance analyzer and possibility to expand Power BI's feature set even more by adding multiple external tools available on the internet. Of course, you need to align using of these tools with your customer policy. There are some examples of tools that I used in my work. Dex Studio may help you to build powerful optimized DEX calculations. Power BI Helper have lots of features, but as I understand, it wasn't updated for a long time, so not all of them still work properly. Why did I add it here? Because that's the only one tool I found in the internet by today that can show you all unused data in your report to clean it up. For example, when you created some calculations while you developed the report, but don't use it anymore in any visuals. Tabular editor is an instrument that can empower your data modeling a lot. Just one of examples how you may use it. If you have some set of metrics which you need to show in several ways, for example, like absolute value for current year, for previous year, and its difference in percentage. Using built-in Power BI capabilities, you will need to create a separate measure calculation for each of these metrics. So if you have sales, amount, count of customers, and profit, you will create 9 measures to show it. But with tabular editor, you can create only 3 measures with logic of what is current year, what is previous year, and what is its difference. And context of metric which it for which it is calculated will be created directly in your visualization. And then, when your report is done and published, just a few words about simplifying its future support. The most valuable point is, of course, to have up to date documentation for your report. Most of us don't like to write it, but I guess all of us would be happy to have a possibility to find all answers for all our questions in the one place. And Power BI files are not source code file, but simply binary files. So you can't use traditional version control system to provide its versioning. One of the way you may to use is create separate div workspace and publish a versions file there. In my current project, we combine the workspaces with SharePoint folders. Workspaces are mostly used for report testing in Power BI service side and to approve them with customers before publishing to prod. And SharePoint folders are used to store all our reports in one place and have access to their update history. And of course, don't forget to check Power BI new features that are released every month. Power BI become more and more powerful product each month, and some features that previously could only be implemented using complex data manipulations and custom visuals now require just a few clicks. In conclusion, Power BI is extremely powerful instrument, and the more you can do in it, the more ways you do have to complicate things. So just keep in mind that less is better, and few extra moves could increase the report intelligibility and maintainability extremely. To put, you should try to put all data transformation outside of Power BI, and don't hesitate to use any features that could simplify the development process and save you from double working. And that was pretty fast. So thank you all for your attention, and if you have any question, you may ask.
Don't worry, we have questions, so we will need this time for them. First question is probably from your colleague. She is asking in YouTube, Ludmila, are you waiting for a specific new feature in Power BI? Which one?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I don't think so. A few months ago, it was published field parameter, it called. And this is a feature that I waited for a long time. I even didn't know that I waited for it before I saw it, uh, because previously you could implement something like switching between different dimensions in one chart by using like really hard way with bookmarks or some data manipulations. But now you can have these field parameters, and you may create some chart or table or something else where users could select in which dimension they want to see their data just by, as I said, a few clicks. And this is really the most like effective things that I saw last few months.
Thank you. So your favorite feature has arrived
Yeah,
already, right?
yeah, yeah, just like that.
We have more questions. For example, um, I am thinking which one. One question is from Sergey Antoniuk. Hi, Ludmila. Could you share best practices for Power BI reports quality assurance? please? Maybe you
Oh,
using these reports for quality assurance.
oh, I would say that you may still use this quality check features to ensure that your data don't have like errors or duplicates or something like that. And I guess that's the most important practice to use this feature.
So you are now talking more about how you mm, test your reports. And I
Uh,
think the question was about are there any best practices for using Power BI for the purposes of quality assurance engineers, like when they prepare their reports about quality.
oh, um, honestly, I'm not sure I correctly understand the question. So, is it about report on topic of quality or what? So, sorry, I just maybe
Yeah,
maybe it's
maybe, yes. Let me read it again. Hi, Ludmila. Could you share best practices for Power BI reports quality assurance, please? Maybe it's a question about quality assurance of Power BI reports, right? Reports. So apart
mm,
from these built-in features, how do you test your report while you are ready with it, that it is uh, like in the requirements? And do you actually test your reports?
um, if you talk about quality as performance, it's performance analyzer built in is so you can check how fast your visualization loads and if you need somehow transform your visualization to increase its performance. If we're talking about data itself, I would say that like pretty simple. You just check your data and check if uh, your calculations step by step are calculated in correct way.
Okay, and
So
if
if I
there are
if,
some,
if I ask,
Mhm.
sorry,
No, go on.
I just wanted to ask if I answered the question.
Well, we don't know because uh, there is a common quality assurance of reports, right? So we I think we is quality checked manually of your report? I mean, one while it is ready. Like you have some requirements, the customer wants to have some report, and before you are handling it to the customer, like you checked it, as you say, right? Or is
Yep. We check it before we publish it, and after that, it's not like some regular practice. You check it when you add some edits in it.
okay? So it's manual way.
Yep.
And there was some question in the beginning. Okay, let's say I watched uh, this talk, yeah, and got interested in the Power BI. What would you recommend? Is it easy to learn Power BI? What resources would you recommend to start from?
Oh, I really like Power BI and its possibility, and I wouldn't say it's so hard to learn. If you used to use Excel, that would be uh, pretty fast to you to navigate in DAX, which is language of calculations in Power BI. And if you want to learn it, mm, talking about myself, my first knowledge, which was enough for me to build some reports, uh, I gained by not more than 1 month. And if you talk about some ways to learn, I would strongly recommend Microsoft courses on Microsoft Learn platform.
So just go to the site of Power BI and take that course that they have the tutorial, right?
Not Power BI, but Microsoft Learn that have a lot of courses on multiple different topics, and for Power BI also. And that course, I guess, really great and easy to understand.
Thank you. And we have more specific questions from your colleagues, I believe. Hi, Luda. Please, any examples of successful image for page background? I
Oh,
can't get how it helps.
oh, okay. For example, you have some set of forms and shapes to divide your page on different panels. Uh, and if you have a lot of these forms and shapes, it will decrease your performance of this page. So you can just hide all your visualization, uh, keep us unhide only these shapes, open on the on the full screen your page, and save this as just screenshot. And after that, just put the screenshot to background of your page. So you won't need these particular elements anymore in this way, and that won't influence your performance.
Thank you. I hope, Madina, your your question was answered. And another question: when can we see right totals in table in Power BI tables visuals when average is done in rows? You can. Should I
um,
repeat it?
Sorry, I guess yes.
Yes. Let me concentrate. When can we see right totals in table in Power BI tables visuals when average is done in rows? When average is done in rows?
So you mean that you uh, have average values in your rows, but you want to see something else in total, not average? Or if you calculate just some average value of your measure, it will be average both in rows and in total row. If you want to see something else, you can do it by dex calculation by using some additional parameters, some additional if cases to provide your logic.
Thank you. Since the next question is, can such feature will be added in future? I think our listener maybe thinks that you are developing Power BI or can influence, right to the developers and just ask for such feature. Mm, okay. Well, thank you for your question, for your presentation, and for your answers. And it was very helpful, I believe, like a tutorial for people who may be new to Power BI. And thank everyone for listening and for watching us. Our next speaker is Alexey Novakov, and he will share his story of data lake implementation. Thank you, Ludmila.
Thank you all very much. Thank you all for listening, for joining, and goodbye, I guess.
Goodbye.